Dear poor people, where did all of these attractive, sad women come from?
Amanda Seales then took to her Instagram story to go off on Shannon Sharpe after fans think that she lied about being diagnosed with autism on his show Club Shay Shay.
How old were you when you got diagnosed?
So 42 and however many days until I was just
Somebody
recently
had asked her again if she's been clinically diagnosed, and she said no.
No, I have not been clinically diagnosed by a doctor because I'm not paying $10,000 to do that. And most people will tell you that at this age, you don't need a clinical diagnosis.
Apparently, Amanda saw what the fans were saying and she reviewed the video footage, and she took to her Instagram story to get a couple of things off her chest. She does a playback of the conversation where she says, "Shannon, but have you been clinically diagnosed?" She says, "Me. Yes, there's a clinical diagnosis for autism." He then hung his head and exhaled in frustration because I did not answer his question. He went on to say that is called deflection. Why? I was not going to feel pressured by this man who was interrogating me with absolute zero love for me. His line of questioning, he had already committed to undermining me. I understand my response may be confusing to some, but I'm clarifying it as I did in my live, and that is enough.
Really? What is up with all of these attractive yet perpetually sad women? I watched the minimal amount of time allowable. I watched some of the interview and many of the clips, and I can tell you, even just from that, it was difficult to get through, and it was seriously cringe. I mean, really cringe. It was like watching someone try to set themselves on fire with wet matches. Ugh, fail, absolute fail. I don't believe that Amanda Seales is on the spectrum. No, she is not on the spectrum. Usually, a person who is on the spectrum becomes diagnosed, and the reason they are diagnosed is because they present symptoms. So if you are asymptomatic and you've lived your whole, 42 years and 15 minutes, or however long it was till he asked her, all of this time, and have had no diagnosis, is because in all of this time, everyone who has ever known you, not because you are Black, but because everyone who has ever known you has never seen enough symptoms to cause them to say, hey, you might want to get that looked into. Or to cause your parents to say, hey, you know what, your daughter is exhibiting some symptoms. You may want to get that looked into. So if you've been able to go all this time asymptomatic, it's highly unlikely that you actually are on the spectrum or have this disease. However, I do think this presents a far more serious problem. And it's not just Amanda. When you start saying that the likelihood of having a disease, it presents the exact same amount of symptoms as whether or not the disease doesn't exist at all, then somebody better just call the AMA, because what that means is all of the last millennia of medicine, we could throw that out the window, because apparently there's a whole new way to do it. Having cancer is exactly like not having it. Having diabetes is exactly like not having it. There's no identifiable difference, according to Amanda Seales. So you can see, unfortunately, how crazy she was in this. And shout out to Shannon Sharpe, who you give him a compliment on one day, you have to take it back on the next. But okay, shout out to Shannon Sharpe for at least calling her out on this, or expressing a little bit of pushback and some criticism and some cynicism, because that didn't even sound like it made any sense on its face. But she seemed to want to stick to that story and then got mad when she was called on it. But here's the real problem. The problem is, this is what happens when societally, the society moves the Overton window from don't be ashamed of having a mental illness all the way to, hey, why don't you come on and let's celebrate your mental illness? You are now incentivizing people to diagnose themselves with things that they do not have in an attempt to get attention and adulation and affection that they otherwise are not able to get in other places in the society through, say, their accomplishments and their achievements. So people of low accomplishment and low achievement will seek to now create a place where they can receive the adulation and affection that they want. And now we have told them, hey, you know where a great place to get that is? Not only do you not have to be ashamed if there is actually something wrong with you, but even if there's not anything wrong with you, why don't you just say there is, and we'll celebrate you for being brave enough to say it. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. And unfortunately, it seems that women are disproportionately predisposed to this kind of folly. They want to create some kind of illness for themselves where there otherwise would not exist. And that's really sad. They are volunteering to be unnecessarily tortured in an attempt to gain the social attention that being healthy would not otherwise garner them. Men, there was a time when I thought that you all were making too much of the idea that the women of today were sad and depraved and modern women had lost a step, and oh, how hard it was to date, marry, and even be around modern women. I thought it was an exaggeration. I thought you were making too much of it. And I can say there were moments and times when I was very dismissive. But if this is what you're encountering, all of these attractive, sad, I want to be sick, crazy women, if this is what you are truly encountering, then you know what? I take back what I said about you. I was wrong. I should not have said that. It is, as you say, things must be very difficult out there if this is truly, in fact, what you are regularly encountering. And I feel very sad that we have a society that is regularly encouraging women to do this to themselves. It is not safe and it is not healthy. And what's worse about it is, if you start thinking about it, first of all, let me tell you, first thing to stop. The first thing you need to stop is that foolish commercial that's all over the internet telling people your trauma is valued. No, it is not. Trauma isn't valued. There is no value for trauma. People are valued. Absolutely. We should value people, but we should not value trauma, because valuing trauma makes healthy people want to run and chase a trauma so they can have one. So now they can become valued. Let's go back to the way things were. Let's shift from valuing trauma to go back to how we used to do it, which is valuing people. And if we really want to get jiggy with it, not only valuing people, why don't we value people that actually have some accomplishment and some achievement and who pour something good into the society from which we all benefit and we are all made better from? How about that? How about that? Let's do that. I'm with that. Where do we sign up? Call me. I want to go there. Let's go there. This is terrible. I feel bad for Amanda Seales. I am not in any position. Amanda, if you're watching, you need help, but it's not from autistic related spectrum disorder. No, that's not it. You have another problem and you should go somewhere and let somebody help you figure it out. And I would just say that I don't see creating a generation of women benefiting everyone. It is certainly not benefiting men. It is harmful to women themselves. And the only people I can possibly see who can get something out of this is, guess who? Big Pharma. Now, they may have a pill that they want to put out that maybe can help with some of this. So we need to be very, very careful. But I just want to say in the end, remember to like, share, subscribe. Thank you for visiting my channel and watching this video. Please come back again and watch the next one. See you soon.